Well, hello everyone. Think we're gonna go ahead and get started now since it's 6 o'clock. So thank you all for joining us tonight for a little evening of mental health and wellness tonight. While we wait, like Amanda had said a few minutes ago, if you want to go ahead and write your name in the chat, as well as your LinkedIn profile handle or URL, and to also kind of start it off, if we want to just do a little icebreaker and mention what you currently do as far as wellness. Could be your favorite wellness exercise or even your favorite yoga pose, since we'll be going into that later this evening as well. So just to get started, so my name's Caitlin Gardner. I am the community store leader for Fillet Foods in Clearwater, but I've also been a YLS Young Leader Society steering committee member for United Way Suncoast since 2019. For this event tonight, I would like to go ahead and just start off by thanking the YLS steering committee and everyone here for making this event possible tonight. We have some great programming laid out, so I'm really looking forward to it. If you guys aren't familiar with what YLS is just a group of professionals who just love giving back to the community and being passionate about community involvement. And that's driven through leadership and volunteerism and advocacy that drives ultimate change in our community. United Way Suncoast's mission is to break the cycle of generational poverty in the community. And we do that throughout the Tampa Bay area through initiatives such as education and financial stability for our ALICE population. So if you also aren't familiar with ALICE, stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. I know it's like a big mouthful, but it's definitely very personal to me because growing up, I was Alice, and this is another reason why I'm part of YLS as well. I'm able to advocate based on my real stories and experience, and also give back to the community in that way as well. And I'm able to do that through a network of like-minded individuals, through community service projects and other events throughout the year. So with that being said too, Alice population, they try to help make, it's just like everyday living, trying to make ends meet and not financially having the resources to get there. So we just wanted to make sure that tonight was super important with all the stressors in life, especially coming out of COVID, to provide resources and services and ways on how to manage stress and keep mental health and wellness a priority in the back of your mind. So I'm going to go ahead and invite Sierra Morris, who is the regional wellness coach for Fit Life, to share a little bit about why Fit Life is just driven and committed to wellness in the community and how to kind of prioritize healthy eating habits as well in your life.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being on, and thank you for letting me talk a little bit about Fit Life and, like Caitlin said, about how to prioritize it in your own life and create or sustain healthy lifestyle. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Can everyone see the presentation? Good. Okay, perfect. So Fillet Foods, we have 60 fully prepared meals that are balanced as far as proteins, carbs, and healthy fats. We focus on more natural ingredients and no preservatives or additives, ready to just be put into the microwave. So super convenient, and you're getting some nutritious meal for your body and whatever you're doing for the day. We offer home delivery, online ordering, and we do in-store pickup. So really whatever you're looking to do, we can make it work for you and make it as simple and easy as possible. And then we also do free wellness coaching. So this is really where Fit Life is focused on providing their customers and community with something that's going to help them live a healthy life, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything that they need. We will take care of so that they can focus on what they want to do in their lives. So that free wellness coaching comes with, like I said, free meal scheduling, anything from accountability to full effective goal setting, behavior change concepts, and any kind of guidance that someone might need or is looking for. So this is a couple examples of few of our meals. So the miso glazed salmon, the grill house burger, and the gacho flat iron steak are just a couple examples of really good gluten-free, low-carb options. We do have a variety of low-carb, gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegetarian meals. And then as you can see, the calories, the carbs, proteins, and fats are very well balanced. So really, again, whatever you're looking to do as far as health and wellness, or if you just need a good, convenient meal rather than some fast food, Fit Life definitely is a place to keep in mind. So, like I said, we're going to be talking a little bit about living a healthy lifestyle. Our wellness coaching really focuses on maintaining a healthy lifestyle that you're excited about, that fits into your life, and that you can live throughout the rest of your life. So really not focusing on diets or depriving yourself of any certain food or restricting any one particular thing. It's really about balance and living that best life and making sure that you're feeling like you're fueling properly for whatever you're doing. And that first concept comes with understanding the foods that maybe are a little bit more unhealthy for you. I think we all understand that processed foods, alcohol, sweets, and desserts are something that we should try to stay away from because of the added calories with really no nutritional value, added fats, sugars, sodium, and then chemicals, especially in those processed foods, are going to come with a lot of health risks as far as high blood pressure, diabetes, or obesity, cholesterol, any kind of heart problem, or can lead to some kind of cancer. So really focusing on moderation of these three things and a handful of other things is super important to leading that healthy lifestyle. So it's really unrealistic for you to not have any of these things ever. I'm sure we all tried to cut them out at one point or another, but it just never happened. So really focusing on balance and moderation is what's going to help you sustain that healthy habit of trying not to eat these foods. And one way to do that is to develop a healthy eating pattern. So an eating pattern is a flexible eating option or food option based on the quality, quantity, and variety of food. So you're hitting the calories that you need, you're hitting the nutrients that you need, and you're hitting different food groups that make up a balanced diet throughout the day. And a healthy eating pattern can also help you with like late night cravings or energy crashes, especially during that like 2 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. time. It can help with your energy throughout the day, and it can make sure that you get all the nutrients that you need to live that healthy life. So a way to do this is finding a pattern that fits within your lifestyle. So if you wake up super early and you can't eat breakfast, that's okay. It needs to fit into your lifestyle. There's no sense in making yourself eat breakfast just to get in those calories because you think that that's going to be what's going to help you lead a healthy life. As long as you're getting enough nutrients and calories throughout the day, it's okay to work your way around certain things, especially with your schedule. When you're eating, try to have a protein, a carb, and a fat at every meal. So some lean proteins, some healthy fats, and then those carbs are going to be super important. Carbs are our main source of energy. So if we're looking at carbs, we want to focus on complex carbs. Those are going to be our whole grains like oatmeal, whole wheat, bread. And then it's also going to be fruits and vegetables. So fruits and vegetables are considered carbs, but of course they're the most natural form of carbs. They're found in nature. And that's what's going to really help us sustain our energy throughout the day and keep us full until our next meal. And we really want to avoid those simple carbs like pastas, cookies, any kind of white bread, or any other kind of like dessert or sugary thing. Another good way to develop a healthy eating pattern is finding a baseline estimate of how many calories you're currently eating. So you don't need to track every single calorie for every single day. You can track on one day on the weekend and maybe twice during the week if you have a couple different days. Your schedule is not exactly the same every day. That way you can get a good idea of exactly how many calories you're eating. And then you can always meet with a wellness coach to figure out how many calories you should be eating to get a good idea of how different or the same those calories are. Another way, we'll go forward just one. Sorry about that. Another way to establish a healthy eating pattern is to be mindful of why you're eating and how you feel as you're eating. So before you eat something, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. Are you really hungry? Is it just time to eat? Or are you thirsty? Are you feeling other kind of emotions? And that's just something that you reach for as maybe a coping mechanism. So figuring out exactly how you feel when you're hungry can help with that. And then focus on how you feel during your meal, if you're feeling full or if you are enjoying the food, and then focus on how you're feeling after as well. If you're super hungry or stuffed, that can tell you if you're under eating or overeating. Another good thing to focus on is your energy levels. So if you're pretty tired and need a nap after you eat, that's a good time to reevaluate that balance of carbs, proteins, and fats. You might not be getting enough carbs or you're eating a little bit too much. And then lastly, focusing on your why and the big picture around any kind of health and wellness goal that you might have. That is really going to help you focus on sustaining those behaviors. Internal motivation is something that we want to focus on, especially when we're meeting challenges and obstacles that get in the way of us meeting our goal. Finding that internal motivation and your true why of something, if you can tie your goal to how you want to be in your life or any kind of value that you might have that really resonates with you, that's going to help you sustain motivation to do behaviors that are going to help you reach your goal. And they're not going to go against what you want to reach in the future. Our wellness coaches, especially with that why, can help you figure that out, have a discussion about that, and keep you accountable. So we are located all around Florida. Here's all of our locations. And then I did include our contact information to all of our regional wellness coaches. You are more than welcome to email any of us. It doesn't matter what region you're in. We can definitely answer any questions you might have. If you are interested in meeting with a wellness coach, you can also fill out a Project U inquiry form online. So eatfitlifefoods.com. And then that goes right to our regional wellness coach, and we will contact you on setting up, giving you more information, getting a good idea of what you're looking to do, and help you with that. So please let me know if you have any questions. I think there's going to be a little bit of time at the end to discuss everything, but definitely some good things to think about and implement into your life, or strengthen if you're already doing them. So I believe Becky is going to be just talking next.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. I'm definitely guilty of the stress eating, or the habit eating, if you will. It's kind of like, oh, well, I need a break from this computer screen, so I'm just going to go eat something, even if I'm not hungry. So, hey, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining today. I'm here to give a little plug for United Way, since all of the proceeds for today's event are going to, help out some of our services. One of the things I wanted to talk about was United Way's support of resource centers. And there are 3 of them that United Way supports. And I think it's a pretty cool idea, because it's basically a hub of all these different services. And United Way brings together and supports a whole host of different issues for people in the communities that need it the most. And I'll give a shout out to FitLife for supporting our Clearwater location, since they'll be giving 1 free meal for every ticket purchased for this event. In addition to the free meal that we all got. And I believe Caitlin said that they're, might be looking at donating some more than that too. So it's pretty cool when you think about the people that will support. If you kind of look at the food breakdown and fruits and vegetables and meats and all this stuff, that's kind of an expensive habit to eat that way. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the discretionary income to be able to have a balanced diet like that. Like Caitlin opened up, we support the ALICE population, which is, the federal poverty level is kind of a joke. It's not a level at which people can really sustain. And there's a whole population above that, but yet doesn't really make enough money to have the housing and transportation and the technology and the food and the health that we all need. So that's the population that United Way focuses on helping. And what I like about it is we provide a lot of data behind it. So in figuring out where we put the resources and the spots that need the most help, we have a lot of data behind it. So that's my plug. Thank you for supporting the mission, and we can get into it with Serene.
Thank you. How is everyone today? You're all doing well. So I am a mental health counselor, and I'm going to talk about how to kind of support mental health and wellness. So I'm going to share my screen. I do like to be a bit interactive, so I'm probably going to ask you in private. Probably I will ask you guys to kind of engage in some activities as we go along. And I just like to hear from you guys as we go. All right, can everyone see this clearly? Thank you. Like dramatic head nods help. I always tell you, like, especially on virtual, I'm like, I need thumbs up or dramatic head nods. That helps me know where I'm going. Okay, so let's go. So just starting off, just real quick with some stats here. CDC reporting in June 2020 that there has been a considerable increase in like mental health conditions, and people reporting, especially due to COVID-19, which I'm sure we all know has had a dramatic impact, but especially on younger adults, racial, ethnic minorities, essential workers, unpaid adult caregivers, things like that. I know we're talking about people who tend to be underserved, overworked, things like that. So it's helpful to kind of keep that in mind. So today what I'm talking about is coping considerations, right? So the areas I want to cover are self-care, shifting our expectations, self-compassion, redefining productivity, recognizing if we're in or out of our window of tolerance, and effective coping strategies. So I'm going to start off with self-care in general, right? Self-care is really just taking the time for yourself to recharge physically, emotionally, and or mentally. I focus on those three in particular because a lot of times we kind of focus on just one or the other, like, oh, I'm not, physically, I'm not moving around. I'm stuck at my desk. I can't do anything, or I don't have time to, go for that walk or, go to the gym, things like that. And so sometimes we're just focusing on one. What's a common word? So this is a question for all of you, right? What's a question or what's a word that you typically use when somebody asks how you're feeling? Like tired. Tired. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Super.
What is it?
I said super.
Super. Gotcha. Yes. So all of those words do not fit in the emotional category, right? And yet those are the words that we typically use, right? We're like good, tired, fine, okay, super. But if you're looking at an emotion wheel, right, that's not going to fit in the emotional category. Tired would be the one that fits in the physical. And the other words are just colloquial words that we typically use, but it's really not describing. If somebody says that, I'm not 100% sure where they stand. And so I always stop and say one way to work towards self-care is to kind of just stop wherever you are in the middle of the day. So we can all do it right now. You can do it in your head or you can share it aloud if you feel comfortable. Ask yourself, how do I feel physically, emotionally, and mentally right now? So I'll do one for myself just out loud. So physically, I will say I'm feeling pretty neutral for the rest of my body, but my shoulders are a bit tense. It's a little bit of pain there. Emotionally, I'm feeling content, excited, and mentally, I'm feeling very present. So that's how I would do my physical, emotional, mental. Anyone else wants to share? You can. Hopefully you're all doing it in your head.
I'll be happy to go.
Thank you.
Let's see. We're talking about physically. I do feel super. I had a terrific workout this morning, and I am just completely endorphinized, and I've been that way all day. So I feel great. I'm just ready for dinner in about an hour, and I can't power it. In terms of emotionally, I feel very stable, very blessed, and very grateful. And mentally, I'm engaged. I'm hooked. I'm into this stuff. So keep telling us more.
Excellent. Thank you, Woody. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Exactly. So that's exactly what you do. And doing these little check-ins with physical, emotional, and mental throughout the day can help you kind of catch things before they get bad. So like I said, if I'm feeling, some tension in my shoulders, as I said, it immediately reminds me, drop my shoulders down, right? Do maybe a little bit of a head stretch, right? That's something that I can do straight from my chair. And if I'm feeling awesome, that also, just like you checked in, Woody, that also helps us with being able to say, hey, you know what, I am feeling pretty grateful, actually, because things are going really well. It allows us to kind of reap the benefit of that. Sometimes we're doing well and we don't take the time to acknowledge that, hey, things are actually going pretty well right now. So I do break down self-care into two different things, task-oriented and leisure-oriented. Task-oriented are going to be those chore-like activities, right? We don't really love doing them short-term, but we do really benefit from them long-term. So they're going to be basic things like brushing our teeth, maybe showering. Some people really love showering. They find it relaxing. Some people are like, it's just one more thing that I have to do in my day. It could be something like, paying the bills. Definitely feel better after it's done, but maybe before, not so much. And then leisure-oriented are going to be the relaxing and distracting activities. They pretty much feel good short-term and long-term. If you're just getting used to adding leisure, sometimes it can be a bit challenging, but that's something that we want to work towards. And I always say that sometimes it sounds like making time for leisure is a luxury. And especially if you're working hard, there's a lot going on, you feel like, wow, I'm just trying to make ends meet at this point. It can seem like a luxury. I don't have the ability to do that. But this is why I like to go to my third point, which is making a list for each category in the 3 different timeframes. So this is something that, again, I'm going to ask all of you guys to do right now. So if you have a sheet of paper or anything you want to write down, or maybe just make a mental note, I want you guys to consider what is something that you'd put in your 2 to 5 minute list, your 10 to 20 minute list, and then your 30 to 60 minute list. You want to have a list for both task oriented and leisure. Right? Again, if we consider leisure to be a luxury, then we're not going to do it. We're going to say, you know what? Time is tough right now. I have to work. I have a lot on my plate. There's no time for that. But if we reframe it in a way that says, you know what? If I don't prioritize my health right now, I'm going to have to prioritize my illness because that will take over. So trying to prioritize health first. So saying something as basic as here, right? My task oriented might be making my bed and brushing my teeth, right? There are things that definitely make me feel better after, but maybe I'm in a rush in the morning to make my bed. But tossing my blanket over really quickly, trying to, make it as smooth as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's something that could give me a sense of accomplishment. Hey, I just finished my one task. And then for leisure would be maybe reading a short article, standing outside for some fresh air. That can be something really quick. If I feel like, hey, I don't really have that much of a break, just stepping outside for just a couple of minutes, honestly, that could make a world of difference. Getting some fresh air, changing the space that you're in, being able to see and hear different things using your senses outside makes a big difference when you're cooped up. So anyone want to share anything on those lists? 2 to 5, 10 to 20, 30 to 60.
I'll share. I definitely have started walking during the pandemic just to get out and to move, and not only moving myself, but moving myself out of whatever space I'm in. So physically getting that change of scenery has been huge for me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Megan. That's 100%. I didn't realize how much I like walking too. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I just need to be outside, so getting a little bit of that. Excellent.
So I'll also share one thing with the pandemic that I made sure not to change is every morning I've always gotten up to work out. So even though I was going to the office, I kept the same time that I got up, worked out just as if I were going to the office. And actually for the first few months, I continued to get dressed in suit and everything else. And it made people feel a lot more comfortable that I was in video conferences with. So I think it made everybody feel a little bit better.
Excellent. That's awesome, Jeff. 100%. Keeping that routine and making sure, like you said, you're like, I already knew what worked before, so I'm going to keep up with it, right? Not losing the things that we already know work. So that's great.
Getting dressed sounds like a task to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I still do it. If this was on a Tuesday or Thursday, I would be in a bow tie. But
100%. I always say, again, if for each person, what one person sticks in their leisure, somebody else might put in their task oriented, right? So I do like wearing casual clothing, but I like getting dressed up. That's exciting to me. I like putting outfits together, seeing what matches. And so that's the leisure part, but each person, it depends on the day too. If I'm well rested versus if I'm like rushing, I'm like, yep, definitely a task if I'm rushing. Natalie, did you have a question?
Hi. Yeah, I just, with the pandemic, I actually started a skincare routine, and that was one of the things I thought of first when you had the 2 to 5 minutes in there, because it doesn't take very long, but it's something I started doing every day as a self-care thing. And because I didn't have to always be on video calls necessarily, it was like something I could do with not worrying about, about my skin looking crazy if I had a bad reaction or something.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So it was a great thing in 2020, and I've kept it going, but that's something I like to do for self-care every day.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, that's a great one for the 2 to 5. Like you said, you stick a face mask on. As long as your video is not on, you're golden, right?
Right. Exactly.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So self-care apps, right? So obviously in the digital world, there are a lot of different apps. Some of them, of course, are paid, but there are a lot of you check your company's benefits. This is one of the things, especially again, when we don't have a lot of money to spend, we're like, hey, I barely have enough time, let alone the extra money to spend on some of these different applications. But there are some that are free or free for several months. And if you check your company, sometimes it's included in the benefits. So for example, I know that some people who work at Starbucks, it actually might come in for free as part of the benefits. So just really looking into see what your company offers, if it is something, having the app at your fingertips, and it might be worth it, if you don't have additional time elsewhere to kind of give you that reminder. So things like Headspace are super helpful. They have a lot of different ones. So just finding something that works for you. Telehealth sessions help increase access. So again, something that I provide, especially during telehealth. I did have an office in person, but I switched to completely telehealth. I had offered both before, but the telehealth sessions have helped a lot. I've been able to service a lot of different people across Florida. And so something just to consider, if you feel like you can't leave, or you don't have, childcare, or you don't have the ability to kind of leave a certain area, this is an easy opportunity to say, you know what, I can pocket just a small bit of time for myself. Remember, it is self-care to attend a session. And the first thing to go when we're stressed out is self-care. Shifting expectations, self-compassion, and redefining productivity. That's my next point here. Setting appropriate expectations is crucial. So when we recognize that we need to sometimes make an adjustment due to circumstances, and that's okay. We might say, hey, I don't have as much time today. If I don't have that time, that's okay. Can you adjust? My question is always, instead of focusing on what we can't do, what can you do? So if you say, you know what, I can't make it to the gym for an hour today, like my usual. Okay. Can you make it to the gym for half an hour? Right? Whatever you can do, that's what you want to focus on. So just shifting that expectation and saying, you know, if I can't make that, if I can't make, you know, a home cooked meal at home, can I reach out and get something from Fillet Foods? You know, can I do something that's already available? And it's okay to shift that. That's a great opportunity. You know, use the opportunities you have versus focusing on what we don't have, which is sometimes easy to do, especially when we get down on ourselves. Practice speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a friend, right? If you wouldn't berate yourself for a mistake, practice that same sort of kindness to yourself with understanding and encouragement, right? Sometimes it's easy to say, wow, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I did X, Y, Z, right? Are there any common negative thoughts that you guys ever struggle with and would be vulnerable enough to share? Or sometimes maybe you didn't meet an expectation at work or you didn't meet the goal that you had for yourself. Any ones that you guys particularly struggle with?
Hi, this is Dawn. I'm achievement oriented and I constantly feel like I'm falling short no matter how much work I do or no matter how much I accomplish in the day. I focus on the 2 things I didn't get done instead of the 20 things I did get accomplished.
100%. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, that goes into, I'm going to skip to that one because that's a perfect opportunity to reframe, right? And focus on that did list versus to-do list. If you ever feel like, wow, again, you know, you missed 2 things, but you did so many other things. Make a did list, right? A did list is a great opportunity to have your accomplishments stare back at you, especially when you're results driven, right? Having that list and be like, you know what, I actually did a ton today, right? Because you can write it all down and be able to see, oh, wow, there is a lot that did actually happen instead of focusing. When you have a to-do list, and you're like, wow, I only checked off 2, you know, other things might pop up, you know, but having that list staring back at you to say, wow, like there's a reason why we're at the end of the day today. And it might seem like I didn't get a couple of things done or I didn't get everything done, and that's okay. But having that list of things you did do really can build that encouragement, right? We always want to focus on how can we build that motivation. So thank you for your openness with that. And again, yes, practice speaking yourself to a friend. If a friend told you, yeah, I did these 15 things, but I didn't do these last 2 things, that really, really sucks. Would you help them reframe, or would be like, wow, that really does suck. I can't believe you did that. Right? Most of us would not respond that way, right? Hopefully not. So most of us would feel like, yeah, you know what, but you did so much. Don't worry about it. Right? So trying to kind of flip that. Again, that results-driven society contributes to the definition of productivity as completing tasks that you get ahead and focus on competition. What more can I do? But really trying to work on that reframe, reinforce that taking time for oneself to recharge is productive, right? And that helping yourself will indirectly help everyone else. You know, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So really focusing on if I can help myself, that is actually being productive. A lot of what I've been seeing lately is kind of differentiating the difference between what availability versus free time is, right? I might have free time in my schedule where I didn't put anything there, but I intentionally didn't put anything there. So I'm not actually available, right? That free time is for me to go on a walk. That is for me to go outside. That is for me to spend some time with family. So things like that. So sometimes when somebody says, are you free? The question is really, are you available, right? Because sometimes we have that free time intentionally blank, so we don't have to be doing anything, you know, and that's productive in and of itself because we can't recharge if we're constantly having something on our plate. Window of tolerance. So here's where we have to recognize that this beautiful window here with the beach, I put that for Florida because I like Florida. I like beaches. I like being outside. But that's like a way to just kind of say, this is anything in my window of tolerance is what I'm able to be okay with, right? I can handle it. So it doesn't mean that I'm stress-free and there's nothing going on. It just means that if there's something challenging, I can handle it. And so it's being able to adapt and manage the highs and lows, right? If we're outside of our window of tolerance, we need to recognize what our warning signs are. This is going to help us if we're in hyper arousal. So we have elevated emotion, anger, anxiety, things like that. They lead us to an inability to think clearly and managing emotions adaptively, right? So if we have just so much energy, so much drive, we're outside of that. So if you find yourself like my warning signs, right? If I'm really short with somebody when they give, you know, if they ask me a question, I'll catch myself immediately. I'm like, oh, sorry, that was a bit abrasive. That's not how I typically talk, right? And so I'll catch it immediately and I'll recognize, you know what, I must be in hyper arousal right now because that's not my typical response. And I have to ask myself, what's going on right now? to help, use some of those coping skills that we just talked about in previous slides to get us back down into the window of tolerance, right? Same thing. Hypo arousal is kind of when we check out. So that's the complete opposite, right? So just depression, numbness, just kind of feeling like, you know what, I'm so overwhelmed right now. If I allow myself to feel that negative emotion, I just can't handle it. So we kind of distract and kind of distance ourselves from that. If we feel like we are in that zone where we're not really caring about anything, happy things don't make us happy, sad things don't even make us sad, we're just kind of checked out, that's also something we want to pay attention to. We need to say, again, I'm outside of that window of tolerance. How can I cope so that I can get back in that window, right? And the more we practice coping skills, we do that physical, emotional, mental check-in, we engage in those 2 to 5, 10 to 20, 30 to 60 minute self-care tasks, the better we are able to catch ourselves before going outside of our window, right? And then I believe this is last, effective coping. So here's where we just want to be really smart about which coping skills we chose, right? So let's say I'm in the middle of a panic attack. I'm not going to use a coping skill that helps me build relationships with people. As much as I care about that, if I'm in a panic, I don't really care too much about the relationship right this second. I'm trying to calm myself down, right? So I'm going to focus on coping skills that are going to bring my emotion level down. Because I always say if emotion is up here, cognition is down here. I'm not thinking clearly if my emotion is maxed out. So choosing the right one for the situation. There's cognitive-based and body-based. So we want to use problem-solving skills that require higher level thinking. When we're in our window of tolerance, that's a good way to think about it. We can use some cognitive-based. I'm distressed, but I can still use some coping. Let's write some pros and cons, right? Let's talk to somebody else who might have some good ideas. And then the body-based ones are going to be those self-soothing ones. So that's going to be walking outside, maybe holding some ice, letting it melt, drinking a hot drink. So this is a great opportunity to walk over to the coffee machine, get a coffee, right? Get a cold glass of water, have a bottle of water next to you. That's something that can be done in the car if you have a long drive. That could be something if you were in the office. That could be pretty much used anywhere. Rating your discomfort on a scale from 1 to 7. Again, that could help you out. Recognizing if you're a 1 to 4, you can probably still use some cognitive-based skills. You're probably thinking clearly enough to use those skills. But if it's anything higher than that, you're going to go straight body-based. You say, you know what? If you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody, excuse yourself. You know what? I think I need to take a quick bathroom break. Please excuse me. Take that moment away. It's okay to ask for support. It's okay to take a break. So some of these cognitive-based, again, if you guys can write some of these down for yourselves or maybe just make a mental note, what would you choose for your cognitive-based and body-based? I wrote some on here. Talking to someone about the issue, journaling, reframing, pros and cons. And then for tip, distraction, TV, again, even something like a 20-minute comedy. If you're thinking if you're watching something, you can not watch the commercials. It's 20 minutes, something to uplift you and change your mood. And then consider what you're looking for and choose an item that gives you it in a healthy way. So if you feel like you're results driven and that sense of accomplishment, something big, give yourself something small, do a puzzle, right? Something that can, you can feel accomplished when you're doing it. Play a game of tic-tac-toe on your phone, something that's pretty easy, but still gives you that sense of accomplishment. If it's something for control, again, find yourself a way that's adaptive to do that. And that's pretty much it for these. Any questions on that?
So eating candy is not an effective coping mechanism?
It actually can be in moderation. It can be in moderation, yes. If that's the go-to every time, I would say not moderate, but yes.
Serene?
Yes.
I would share that there are a number of us who've all confessed that we are perfectionists and get frustrated when we don't accomplish everything that we want to do.
Yes.
We get distracted, we get interrupted, and it makes us frustrated. And I've found 2 places and sources that help me when I feel that agony and that frustration. And those sources for me are spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is getting my tail to the gym, even if I don't want to go.
Yes.
Get physical, because every time it clears my mind and I can come back, have a nice deep cleansing breath and go back into my day with a whole fresh new approach. So that's kind of how I deal with it right now. But I'm really appreciating hearing these other ideas too. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Just like you said, spirituality can help you with the internal and the external, and then keeping that gym routine. Very admirable. Again, getting that physical activity. Remember, if we're in hyper arousal, we have a lot of energy. It needs to go somewhere. So that's a perfect opportunity to have that release. So when you come back, you're able to soothe as you're calming down. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And so if no one has anything else to add, I'm going to hand it over to Megan, who is going to help us with practicing some of that self-care and kind of go into the yoga.
Thank you for being here tonight. So my name is Megan Gherkin. If I haven't met you guys, we're going to do a little bit of our corporate yoga programming. So I'm going to shift a little bit. You guys can all hear me okay, correct? Yes, perfect. All right, so while I am kind of talking through this short transition, I'm going to encourage you guys to transition a little bit here too. So what that looks like is setting yourself up to enjoy the next 20-ish minutes with me. So that could look like a lot of different things depending on what works for you. So I'm going to encourage everyone to turn off their phone. So turn off your phone, even the vibrate, the ringer, right? That little bit, turn off your phone. Put it away from you. You can get up and move, and it's okay if you're off screen. Put it away from you. And I'm also going to encourage you guys, if you want, turn off your cameras. I love your beautiful smiling faces, but I know not everyone feels super comfortable doing yoga and moving in their body in front of a camera. I promise it feels a little weird to me too. I had to practice it. So go ahead and turn your camera off if that makes you feel more comfortable. And then I want you to find a comfortable space wherever you are. A lot of us, as you guys see, I'm right up on top of the computer for the first portion, but move and shift a little bit. So I'm actually going to stand up. I've got my computer desk chair that I'm going to roll out of the way, and try to find yourself in a nice, comfortable chair or seat. I'm going to shift this forward a little bit. Go ahead and wiggle move. If you need to also change a clothing item to feel a little more comfortable, do that. Put on your favorite music, right? Spotify, YouTube, you're all muted. And if you're not, then our producer will mute you. But put on something that is soothing. If you have a candle in your bedroom or wherever you are in your home, light a candle. So try to find or incorporate a little something. I know I said a lot of things, but we're going to take a second and actually do those things. Find something that you can incorporate to make yourself feel a little less stressed. It's a cue for you that we're going to start to unwind and kind of reset. And then find yourself in your chair. So anything I'm doing in this chair. My legal disclaimers, if you're doing it with a chair with wheels, be very careful, please. And then anything I'm doing, you can do on a yoga mat too. So if you want to do a little more involved yoga session, feel free to roll out your yoga mat, get on the floor. If you've got your, yoga pants on, you're ready to go ahead and do that. Good. So take a lot of time here for a second, just a second, to settle yourself in, to transition from whatever you were doing in your world into the space that you're in now. If you want to close the eyes, start to just focus on your breath, breathing in, gently releasing, breathing out. You don't have to change the breath or manipulate the breath. You're just noticing it. And then do a little check-in, like Serene talked about earlier. Check in with yourself physically. Is there any tension or tightness at any parts of the body? Check in with yourself emotionally and just see how you feel. Find a feeling word and just hold it with you. Again, without any kind of judgment, we're just checking in. And then just check in with yourself mentally. Maybe you run through your day in a nanosecond, you're remembering everything you did. But try to find where you're at and sit with that for just a second. focusing just on the breath, breathing in. And maybe parting the lips, parting the teeth, breathing out. Release. One more time, one more big breath. Try to relax the muscles of the face. Maybe part the lips, part the teeth, relax the jaw. Let your shoulders move away from the ears. Let the belly relax, the feet just sitting flat on the floor. And then gently just flutter your eyes open if you'd like. And we'll start to move very gently and move with the breath. So to start, we're just going to bring our arms out to the sides. It's okay if you have arm rests or not. Just bring the arms out to the sides, turn the palms forward, take a nice big breath in, reaching all the way up, all the way towards the ceiling, and just turn the palms down, exhale. Pressing the air all the way down until your hands can come as far down as possible. Good, one more time, nice big inhale up, stretching the arms, keeping the shoulders down, lifting the chest. Good, exhale, release the hands down, palms down as if you're pressing the air, really feeling resistance. Good, one more time, inhale up. This time on the exhale, we're gonna take a little forward fold. So just make sure the feet are situated, maybe bring the knees a little wider, and gently just bring the forearms down onto the thighs. Maybe rock a little from side to side. And I'm looking up at you guys so you can see me, but take the nose and just point it towards the floor. Get a nice stretch in the back of the neck, and maybe you gently tilt the head from one side to the other. Good, come back to center, take an inhale, press yourself up so hands can come to the thighs and just gently press yourself back to sitting. Good, bring those arms out to the side again. Maybe wiggle if you want to. Inhale, palms up, and take a nice little twist. So left hand is gonna come across the body, just the outside of that right thigh. And the right hand can either come down onto that armrest if you've got one. It can come down onto the side of the chair if you don't have an armrest. Or if you want a little more of a twist, you can bring that right hand behind you and look over your right shoulder. Take a big breath in. Let it all out. And then gently inhale back to center. Just reach those arms all the way up towards the sky, reaching. And then just exhale, go ahead and twist the other direction. So right hand's gonna come across the body. Left hand is gonna find a place on the chair. Maybe look over that left shoulder. Nice big breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. On the next inhale, come back to the middle. Inhale the arms all the way up. And take a little forward fold. So bring the forearms down onto the thighs. Or you can bring the hands actually down to the floor. Let the chest relax on the top of the thighs. Let the head hang heavy and gently shake the head back and forth. Big breath, relax the back of the neck, and then gently walk yourself back up, sitting nice and tall. Good, and we're gonna take a standing position. So just take a second, get up slowly, walk it out a little bit here, and find yourself either behind your chair or to the side of the chair, just allowing yourself to use either the armrest or the back of the chair to give yourself a little bit of balance. We're gonna bring our legs wide, and we're gonna gently just twist from side to side for a second. So nice and easy, just get a little movement here. And then go ahead and find a spot that you can hold onto the chair. It doesn't matter how you hold onto it, just make sure that if your chair's on wheels, that it's not gonna slide out from under you. And then we're gonna lean into one foot, it doesn't matter which, and we're gently gonna lift the other leg. Get a nice stretch in the front of the quad. And if you want to, you can reach back and grab onto that ankle or onto the foot. Give yourself a little tug here, but try to push that hip forward. Don't worry so much about pulling the foot high. Push that hip forward, get a nice stretch, big breath. And then just release the foot down. Good. And then go ahead and switch. So lean into the other side, lift the other foot. Again, same option. If you want to reach back and grab onto it, you're welcome to. Big breath in. Big breath out. Just checking in with the body. And then release that foot all the way back down. Good. Take the feet nice and wide. And we'll take a little twist again. So you can twist without the chair by just taking the arms up and around, giving yourself a little twist here, or you can use that chair, use it as a little bit of leverage, pressing in either onto the armrest or the back of the chair, giving you a little more of a twist. Good. Go in the other direction. And then coming back to center. Good. We're going to come back down onto the chair. Go ahead and find yourself seated. Maybe lift one heel and then the other. Rock it out a little bit here. Or you can lift both heels and drop both heels, working the ankles a little bit. Just starting to relieve any kind of tension that you might be holding in the lower part of the body. Good. We'll bring one foot out. It doesn't matter which, but bringing one foot out takes nice, easy circles with that foot. And if you have shoes on, you're welcome. You notice I'm barefoot. So corporate yoga, barefoot is allowed, or socks, but just taking nice, easy circles with the ankle. We don't do this a lot. This movement isn't normal. So just getting a little bit of a stretch here, working the other direction, helping to start pumping lymphatic fluid through the body. So helping to cleanse the body a little bit here. Good. And then just switching, lifting the other side, taking nice, easy ankle rolls. Again, if you're wearing sneakers or definitely men's dress shoes, men or women, whoever's wearing men's dress shoes, it's a little bit more challenging. So if you want to take those off, you're welcome to. Go the other direction. Good. Nice big breaths and bring that down. Good. And then we're going to, one last thing, take our knees just a little bit wider. Good. And there's going to be two options here. So we're going to take another twist. Twists are really good to help us detoxify, kind of imagine wringing out the body of all the toxins. So go ahead and take the knees nice and wide. And you can either take a little twist by bringing an elbow across the body or a forearm across the body. The other hand on that armrest, taking a little twist. Or if you want to take a little bit more, bring one hand all the way down to the floor. And you can bring the other arm all the way up. So a little more of a twist here. This arm down on the ground is maybe even pressing into that inner thigh, helping to rotate the body. That top arm's lifting toward the sky. Maybe look at it if that feels okay for your neck. And then gently switch. So if you want to bring that other hand all the way down, the other arm all the way up, or take that modification, remember, you can just bring the forearm over to the thigh and gently twist. Make it a little bit easier on yourself. Open and close the mouth, relax the jaw, and gently unwind, come back to center. Bring the hands, palms down onto the thighs, maybe rub the thighs just a little bit here, back and forth, creating a little bit of heat, right? And we're also moving the shoulders forward and backwards. So we're warming up the shoulders, pull those elbows back, and then nice big circles, right? So a lot of times, I always say this, we are driving and we're leaning forward, kind of hunching ourselves forward. So lift up and open the chest, pull those shoulders back, big movements here. And then if you want, you can continue those shoulder rolls, or you can bring the hands to the sides of the chair or to the armrest and lift the chest for a little bit of a back bend. Open up the throat if you want to lift the chin towards the sky, or if that feels like you're pinching your neck, you can just tuck your chin towards your chest, but lift the chest, press the hands either into the armrest or the side of the chair. It looks like this if you're on the side of the chair. Nice back bend. Good, come back to center. You can keep the knees wide, or you can walk the legs in a little bit. You can also find a reclined position if you want to lay down. I think most of us are at home, so if you want to find a comfortable position, you can lay on your back. So take a second to transition into something comfortable. And then wherever you're at, find something else that you can do in that position to make it even more comfortable. Maybe close the eyes. Maybe move the body one last time if there's anything that's causing you discomfort. And then come back to the breath, breathing in, breathing out, and checking in with yourself again. Check in with yourself physically, see how you feel. Check in with yourself mentally. Check in with yourself emotionally. Maybe finding just one word that you can describe each of those sensations without any kind of judgment or attachment to those words. Just notice how you're feeling in the moment. And then as we're keeping our eyes closed, we'll do a loving kindness meditation together. And that's simply, we're going to, in our heads to ourselves, say, I wish you peace. I wish you comfort. I wish you love. Wishing those things onto ourselves, peace, comfort, and love. Imagine sitting with those feelings for just a moment. And now imagine someone that you do love very, very much. It can be a family member, a friend, someone who's very close to you. Picture them in your mind. And we're going to say to them, I wish you peace. I wish you comfort. I wish you love. So pretty easy. But now we're going to picture someone that we don't actually know. Maybe it's someone in your building or someone you've kind of passed in the street. Maybe a complete stranger, but you can picture their face. You don't know anything about this person, but regardless, we're going to say to them, I wish you peace. I wish you comfort. I wish you love. And then finally, we're going to picture someone we actually don't necessarily get along with all of the time. I know this may be a challenging one. Try and picture someone that you don't necessarily always completely, totally like. That's okay. Understanding they're different than you, we're still going to say to them, I wish you peace. I wish you comfort. I wish you love. And then gently just bringing the hands together at your heart center, pressing the palms together, and maybe even placing both palms on your heart, bringing all of that great energy into yourself. Sit up nice and tall. I end this like I end all of my classes. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you for coming. Namaste. So take a moment to slowly transition back into this space. Take a few deep breaths, flutter the eyes, and when you're ready, join us back with your camera on. We will start to transition very slowly into some breakout groups. But take a few seconds, take a few breaths, and then gently bring yourself back. I know some people will take a little bit longer than others, and that's okay. Some of us may have fallen asleep, and that's okay too. Somebody's going to wake up and realize that we're already done, but that's okay. Just means that's what your body needed.
Room. I just wanted to thank everybody for joining our event. We really do appreciate everybody that came here. And we thank you for being a part of it tonight. And we thank you for the support from our community that we serve. So before I completely end the call or the event, I wanted to go over some new events that we should be having or that we will be having within the next couple of months. So the first one that as one of our next upcoming events is in August 20th. We'll be having an event at the Boys and Girls Club. It's from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's going to be partnered with Women's United. So I would get there fast. I think we have 3 spots left when I looked last. So if you want to still volunteer, just go on that website and put your name in, and then you'll be able to volunteer with us. So after that event starts our onboard series event. And so the onboard series event has already opened. So if you want to go ahead and join the onboard series, you can. I believe the day that we will be stopping is the day before. So you have plenty of time until September 16th will be the day that we actually start our onboard process. So September 16th, the 23rd, the 30th, and the 7th will be the last day that we will be doing our onboard series. It's from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. So if you can, those will be the days and the times that we will have the onboard series. Our next event will be Night Out for Caring. It's October 14th from 5 to 7. This is a to be determined if it's going to be virtual or in person. I don't think we've gotten word back yet on whether or not we will have it virtual or in person. It all depends on how everything goes with COVID still. So we're waiting on that. And then our next event will be November 5th is our second annual coffee with the CEO. It's from 8:30 to 10 a.m. So that's our next one. And then one of our last ones will be in December, our volunteer engagement opportunity. It's a day of service. We still don't know what we're doing exactly for that one, but just look forward to getting some dates and an event for December that we will be doing. I just want to thank everybody again for joining our event, and I hope that you all loved it. If you do have any questions or comments, you can definitely email us or have a conversation with us. I think a lot of us left our LinkedIn or our email or our phone number in the comments. So thank you. And I hope to see you guys at our next event. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.